All right, in example 4, we are needing to find an expression for the perimeter and the area of the shaded region. Okay, so perimeter, when I think of perimeter, I think of, I'm just going to add all 4 sides together. So I'm going to write here, add all sides. Now area is not adding all 4 sides. Area is going to be length times width. So area of a rectangle is length times width. So let's start perimeter. So I want to either just notice or actually label that the other side is 5x plus 2, the opposite side, and then the top one is also 4x minus 7. And so now I'm going to add the 4 sides together. So I can write one big expression. So I'm going to start at the top, 4x minus 7, and then I'm going to add the side on the right, 5x plus 2, and then add the bottom, 4x minus 7, and add the left, 5x plus 2. And then now that I look at this, I just have a series of like terms to combine. So I've got 4x plus 5x plus 4x plus 5x. So 4 and 5 is 9, plus another 4 and 5 is 9. So there's 18x altogether. Okay. And then I've got negative 7 plus 2 minus 7 plus 2. So I could do the same thing. Negative 7 and 2 is negative 5. This negative 7 and 2 is another negative 5. So negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. So my expression for perimeter is 18x minus 10. Now, you could also look at it this way. You could also say, let's pretend I didn't write these guys out. I could say, well, I need to double the length and double the width. So I could say, well, I'm going to double 4x minus 7 and add to that 5x plus 2 doubled. So when I go to do that, I'll have to separately distribute in. That will give me 8x minus 14. And then this will give me 10x plus 4. But I still get 18x minus 10. Okay, so when you combine your terms. So it doesn't matter how you do it. You just need to be comfortable with, one way to get our perimeter. Okay, let's switch gears to area. So area is length times width. Length times width. So I'm going to go ahead and designate length and width. So area is going to be length times width. So 4x minus 7 times 5x plus 2. So this is exactly what we were doing on the first page and on the previous day's lessons. So we're going to distribute. Okay, so let's distribute. Multiply, multiply. So I'm going to have 20x squared. 4x and 2 is 8x. And then along the bottom, negative 7 and 5 is negative 35x. Negative 7 and 2, negative 14. And then here are my like terms. So my area is going to be 20x squared. 8 minus 35. So I'm really doing 35 minus 8. And then the answer will be negative. So negative 27x, and then negative 14 doesn't have anything to combine to. And that's it. So again, I don't know what the x's are, so I'm not going to be able to actually get the answer for area like a concrete number. So I'm going to leave them in terms of these expressions. Okay, so area is length times width. Perimeter, we're going to add up our sides. Okay, we've got one more here to look at. Find an expression for the area of the shaded region. So this word right here is another indication that you're going to have variables in your answer. Okay, expressions are just phrases in math. We don't know what the variables equal to. Okay, so what I see here is a region in the center. I see this region here that I need to get rid of. So I need to subtract this out of the whole area. So I could kind of think about this. I could say, well, I'm going to do the area of the big shape, and I'm going to take away the area of the small shape. So I'm going to pretend like the white shape is there. I'm going to do the area of the whole thing. And then when I subtract this area, I'm going to be able to cut that out of the middle. Okay? So let's I'm going to do this in 2 stages. So let's calculate the area of the big shape. Okay, so area is length times width. So I'm going to take the 5x plus 8 times 6x plus 2. Okay, so go ahead and multiply that out. So, of course, I'm going to distribute. So that's going to be 30x squared. 5 and 2 is 10, so plus 10x. 8 and 6 is 48, and I have an x there. 8 times 2 is 16. And then I do have the terms in the middle that'll combine. So 48 plus 10 is 58. So I've got plus 58x plus 16. Okay, that's the big area. So I'm going to let that sit there for a minute. Let's come over here. Let's do area of the small. So it's length times width again. So I can either write this as x plus 6 times 5x, or I can flop it around, or I could write it as 5x times x plus 6. Okay, either way you're distributing. Okay, so I'll just go back to what I wrote first, because I want you to be comfortable with seeing it different ways. So I'm just going to distribute, and I'm going to do it that way. Or I could think about going 5x to x, 5x times 6. It doesn't really matter. So I end up with 5x squared. 6 and 5 is 30, and that'll be 30x. Okay, now I need to come back here. Area of big minus area of small. So I have here area of big is 30x squared plus 58x plus 16 minus area of small. So since I have 2 terms, I'm going to put it in parentheses like that, because I not only have to take away the 5x, I have to take away the 30x. So if I don't write it in parentheses, I'm very likely to forget to subtract 30x. So that's going to hopefully prompt me to distribute this negative in. So I'm going to write the beginning in a moment, but I'm going to need to take away 5x and take away 30x. Okay, so I'm going to bring down the front. Okay, now you might notice that at the beginning and not have to write it in parentheses, but I see so many students take away 5x, but then they end up just adding 30 because they hadn't looked at it from that perspective. Okay, one of you like terms. I see 2 sets of second power. So 30 minus 5 is 25, x squared. I also see 2 sets with x on them. So I need to do 58 minus 30. So 50, 40, 30, 20. So that would be 28. And then there is no other number without a variable, so just 16 plus 16 will come down here. So the area of the shaded is going to be this expression, 25x squared plus 28x plus 16. Okay. So one aspect of these last 2 examples is I want you to start getting a little bit more comfortable with lots of variables, because that's what we're going to have here throughout this unit. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know.